That's what I'm gonna be talking about today.
Hello, motherfucker.
Yo, what up, YouTube? It's not 2025, and I'm still at this targeting vlog situation. In my city, I got kicked out of 2 gyms for exercising. One was Planet Fitness, where I believe they cloned my cell phone. I found out that it didn't seem like my mother or my sister were directly getting my text messages. So I think that my phone was cloned over at Planet Fitness, where I cracked down and busted like a bunch of pedophiles, man. And so, you know, I made myself a menacing presence, man. I just sat in the lobby, man. Retired ex-police, the whole nine, man. Anyways, after we did like some spiritual warfare shit, like all these dudes moved out. I sat there for like a long time after that, 6 months in the lobby, you know, waiting for one of them retired cops or whatever to come back with a gun or something to try to show me something. I don't know, I ain't the best fighter, but I do know that we both can lose. All right, I really don't plan on winning some street altercation, but I definitely plan on any type of nonsense coming to me that I know that we both can lose. That's what I know. Okay. They cloned my phone there. This RFID thing, when they came out with it a long time ago, they had like little foil things that you could buy, or protective pouches that you could put your driver's license and information in and shit like that. But I believe they could do it with cell phones now, and they call this technology called Stingray. So police have it. I also want to bring out that I heard, you know what I'm saying, for somebody, they purposely did things for a particular reason. So I decided to shoot this video with just with this A shirt on, because it's to show you that I'm really here, okay? And I'll get into that in a minute. But like, I'm really here with you. I'm really here. Like, this is a wall. You know what I'm saying? The pillow, the couch I'm on. Like, you know, this is my little spot. All right. I'm really in here. I'm not composited in my videos, man. And a lot of the internet is put together or comprised together for you on your travel or your journey and what have you. And you have to know the difference between what's real and not. You know, back in the day, they had something pertaining to like maybe it was masonry. I don't know, man. I can't say. I draw a blank because it's so mysterious. But if you watch the video and you notice anything that was wrong or out of place, then you could recognize that the video is a scam. Okay, because Mother the Matriarchy, based on what I've been told, is a perfectionist. All right, so this used to be a way, wink, wink, silent, silent, back in the 90s. Like if you were watching TV, you would know something was off. All right. But we have like a Stasi effect in the world today, and I'm just now catching notice of it. You know, I wasn't really aware. You know, I knew about DeepFake, but I didn't know how prominent it was, how good it was. And I even went to motion graphic design school, man. I went to art school. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that turned me off about art school was the manipulation of photo details pertaining to females. Because that was like me finding out Santa Claus wasn't real, man. I lost my fucking mind, man. And, you know, niggas get mad at me because I tell the truth about when you go on ChatGPT or one of them camera sites, them 3D representation, you know what I'm saying? Them chicks, hey, it's two different stories, nigga. When you look on the internet and then you go outside and see these niggas in real life, like, yo. I'm sorry, niggas gonna be so mad at me for being honest, man. But you like, I ain't never seen no motherfuckers look like that in my life. Like the chicks on the campsites be looking like fucking some type of fallen angel demigod type shit, man. Like, they be all done up, man. And some of these be dolls I told you about, like back in the laundry video, you know, they be dolls, robotoids, man. Or you got, you know, human beings that are defiled. So basically they don't have, like, the soul is kind of connotative of your memory and your essence from which you came, your personality, your characteristics and traits. So if you take that out, right, then you have just the vessel, and it operates based upon a top-down process of consciousness. Okay, the matriarchy is your base block of consciousness, which regulates your flesh, this carbonite. You know, you things that you would connotate as a central nervous system, so on and so forth. Where your brain, pertaining to consciousness and what have you, can be built. Okay, so when you get into gamers in today's age, and they are talking about, like, I built this mod, or I built this hardware, or this thing, or whatever. These individuals are geniuses that recognize that there's a correlation between computer viruses and human psychology, and man is getting closer to the date that he merges with machine, in which, you know, we have the metaverse and all this other things that's pertaining to reality. Really, the human mind is like the final frontier. And we now have the Brain Initiative, which Obama apologized for studying on the live cadaver of the human mind. You see what I'm saying? So when you have DeepFake, which correlate with the Brain Initiative and your brain, all right, and meta being your thoughts or metaphysical, right? And the metaverse pertaining to, when you get on Facebook, it says what's on your mind, and the introductory page is connecting the world, would be connecting the internal world with the external world, so to speak, which The Secret was the big book that came out pertaining to the law of attraction, right? So it's just like with Christianity, faith, evidence of things that are unseen, that are yet to come, or something to this degree, right? So it has this relativity to this law of attraction. And what the basis of this thing is to bring the doorways, I suppose, of the physical and the spiritual world together. And now we got CERN and quantum computing, so on and so forth, D-Wave, super smart computers, things of this nature. Men who are traveling, men that time travel and shit on the low, you know. These suits that walk around, these ordinaries, these individuals in black. You know what I'm saying? These are travelers, you know. And the internet, which pertains to internal network or pathology, right? So getting into all of these things in terms of the advancement of our reality, there is a lot of images that you come across on TV or the internet that is not really how things are. Like, take for instance, just as I'm here, like I could have filmed on a green screen separately, and my background could have been put in place there, right? And I went to motion graphic design school. I learned this stuff, man. But like, I was such in a sunken place that I thought that these events was actually taking place in the earth. I really believe that. Okay. I'm going to show you a frontline PBS piece. All right. And I'm going to show you how there's a lot of news that's fake news or CGI. And Trump is pretty much gave the public circus and peanuts, because I was saying I wasn't sure that was a real Trump. And I could tell that both Trump and Biden were operating off of DeepMind. And DeepMind is the early stages, it seems, of human consciousness being developed based on a Roger Penrose system of some type of top-down algorithm, right? And so your mind is built on some type of like building block or something like that, which is basically a server or what have you. In many ways, this would create things like photographic memory, and one being able to have a perfect memory as well. You see what I'm saying? But this is what it looks like is the leap in technology and things today. And I'm just saying that when it comes to media and things like that, we much vary. So, you know, I rarely see my neighbors when outside. You barely see people outside, things of this nature. I could go on YouTube and I could look up videos all day and never see any videos if my neighbors post any videos on YouTube, or I haven't personally met any influencers myself ever on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? So anything beyond individuals that you would directly meet when you go outside, these would be individuals that may or may not be on Earth, may or may not be an actual depiction of what is taking place in the Earth physically, but maybe representationally to some degree. Okay, be it that these pictures or these images create a scenario or an environment for one to either enjoy or for marketing through your Ray ID, what they beam or stream to your TV, which is to a certain extent being a part of your reality, a part of your consciousness, a part of your life, a part of your spirit, something that is being introduced to your mind. Okay, so in many ways it would seem that the technology, depending on how good technology is and how far one has been able to understand consciousness, that the portion in which is less perfect would be the flesh. Okay, because the physical representation of your flesh, it is like a snake. Your body will betray you one day, more than likely. Your flesh will break down and things of this nature. It's not able to keep up with something that is a spiritual or light. You know what I'm saying? This would be as consciousness. The flesh may have all things, including a brain, but none of your senses can connotate any meaning unless it is first interpreted by your mind in order for you to have perception. So the flesh, okay, the flesh is prone to betray an individual, and what an individual is in essence is consciousness. If an individual is not conscious, then this individual would be more than likely in spiritual technology a top-down representation or algorithm of categorical building blocks of representations and archetypes of thought or schools of thought which comprises their mind. Okay. Now I'm not trying to be wordy, but I'm trying to be as concise as possible with getting these words out. But we have deep mind, and deep mind with neural tracing and things of this nature. It would seem that they have been already advancing and pertaining to having lots of knowledge about this technology, which would supersede most definitely this way of thinking. Human consciousness and individuals that would be able to do this thing hasn't made any media waves, and it's 2025. Neuralink hasn't been massively marketed in any type of way, even though they've had some seminars. No mainstream commercials. This cutting edge technology, allegedly, we think, this hadn't been around before. There has to be other consciousnesses and other beings outside of human beings, and they have technologies and cloaks and mocap and so on and so forth. That these images and the magic of the movies is also in your news. And these things can be deceptive for your mind if you only see things in physical representations, which is carnal. But if you understand things, thank you very much, and understand that you're consciousness, then things that you perceive can be represented as archetypes or summaries of things that are taking place in the earth. Hold on, this commercial. These things one must think when you reflect on things, looking in the mirror, though things look the same, they are exactly different. Your reflection is exactly backwards when you look at it in a mirror. Therefore, the reverse flow of time for one to know if they're traveling is when, I would say, all the people in the world that you tend to be around tend to move contrary as you. And when in Rome, one would think the Bible would say contrary. Don't be as them. This pertains to individuals that are traveling. When things are reflected, they are backwards. And therefore, the pride of this backwardness is set in stone. And this stone and this coarseness of society and the way it treats you for being different would be as the pride of Leviathan, that in his way obscures life altogether, and the creation of babies we would call reprobation. Things that was seldom in the 80s now is strange to be straight. Pause. How is that possible? And how is it possible the black man is a minority? Considering the Bible, knowing Adam was black in the former generation, so on and so forth. Think about it. I'm a minority. How is that possible? That would mean there would have to be other timelines, and we exist in a multiverse. Like, what if? And in minds, as you're traveling in between the channels you subscribe to, change according to quantum mechanics. Thoughts that are beamed into your television set by via blue light, streamed into your consciousness, manifested in your realities between spaces, within your mind, and you exist inside of it, like the fleshly sun. And inside the consciousness of God that is inside of your heart. Being illuminated in the flesh makes one as Lucifer, knowing that the flesh is temporary and one day you will die, but your consciousness will go on forever, being in the spirit. The flesh aims to survive. The spirit aims to thrive. These two ways of life contradict one another. The ways of the world are as one way, and your way, according to Scripture, will be contrary. Sharing the truth, if you share the truth, will put you in adversity, and these are those thorns that the saints are troubled with. Though they have freedom and liberty in Christ, a stumbling block for those who are Old Testament, an eye for an eye. Though there be waves, and these waves make waves at my ship, I'm safe. Many of the media that you see on your day-to-day are image representations of individuals in spaces. Some of them pre-recorded from former life cycles, many pictures recycled on those dating apps, dog. Technology and things changing in minute fractions as you watch them live in the moment. Time ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's slower than other times when it moves faster. Seems like the day moves slow between 8 and 1:30, 8:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. And after 1:30 p.m. time speeds up. Then time slows back down. It ebbs and flows. I believe this world we exist in, one would connotate as a simulation. And this simulation, connotated by technology, and all the technology we have in advancement, has already been, and much more. Knowing that we entered in a pyramid. What then can the work of man's hands create but vanity? As all things in all ways have already been found out. So the time we spend here, we spend in reflection, caught in a state between our ebbs and flows, our swings, our moods within nature, our perceptions and our perspectives and others, and how we can't fit inside this puzzle. Not knowing if your news is real or if you can interpret it. The difference is the Masons know that they traveling, man. If you don't, then you could seem lost. But I'll show you in another segment how I believe much of the news that we get is false, and how a lot of it's composite, and how a lot of your favorite things that you like to watch, all of it pertains to a script. And these scripts are based upon Masonic situations, and these Masonic situations are based on churches, and churches based upon Catholic traditions, in which, depending on how someone looks, their perspective, potentially they could see Christ in all things. But I could be wrong. If you're being targeted because you're traveling. The other individuals being targeted might not exactly be in the same reality. And some of us are ahead of others pertaining to progression and intensity. Therefore, we see things before others. A warning to the other targeted: don't be so quick to judge an individual that has helped you along. But what it is we're traveling ever since they activated CERN. They took Christ out of artificial intelligence such as Siri and Echo. But this is an upside down kingdom. Therefore, the Christians that are crossed out have been raptured. And the X is a representation of the beast. Who owns Twitter? And what's his icon? This is the difference between knowledge and consciousness, and all things that we exist between, like time, which is illusion, and subjected to things as well as flesh is, though it's meta. Individuals going further into windows, falling into technology. By what cause does a four-dimensional being a spirit, fall into a three-dimensional one, being flesh, fall into a two-dimensional one, being a cell phone, and its many apps, just to become another program between them, another cog in the wheel? That's a cog in a wheel that's caught inside a carnal mind. These are the ways of the world that we exist within. Peace and blessings be with you all. I'm out. the overlapping and stacking of boxes, these categories that we tick off on applications, these categories in which an individual fits inside of, many things stacked upon one another. If these boxes were perfect computations in which agreements rest upon one another perfectly, then a perfect mind of order that makes sense would make sense by order and separation. There'd be no juxtaposition for the most part. Things less abstract as they must fit inside of a box, situated in squares like the Brady Bunch, stacked upon each other in layers like a pyramid. For one to have knowledge based upon stereotypes, things that can be categorized in overlapping stacks, and which one can create a consciousness based upon information, and then one can create consciousness by the overlapping of knowledge, except they would still lack certain perceptions and perspectives, generally, I suppose, of awareness, which can't be quantified and is abstract, that when one goes according to work, that they fall in order to know the process or knowledge it takes to create a complex mind which God made in order to be self-willed, relearning each of the states from a base state of a beast or the flesh or an organism that's like a worm or a tentacle, and working its way back to its current age. It's like the minds I'm set amongst, watching news that's from DeepFake, trying to keep the public calm when all hell's broken loose. And we just want to sing the song and go along with the latest fashion trends. This is America. Peace and blessings to you all. Yo, what up, what up, what up? Peep gang. On a day-to-day basis, considering all the people that we have in America, let's say McDonald's has served 9 billion people, right? Now think of how many people are in your town or in your city. And think of how obscure it is for us to have dating apps. Individuals don't form communications in person anymore. There's no opportunities or circumstances in which after school you develop relationships in the state of Missouri. At least California has things for the community and the citizens, such as People's Park and sometimes public events as concerts, but generally after high school, and if one goes to college after school, after college, then there really aren't many opportunities except for the nepotism through work. You see all these people on the planet that are mature enough to do mature things, and we can't get along with one another. And it's like an 8th grade dance because individuals are afraid to talk to one another, aren't they, in public? Considering their knowledge and what type of knowledge they have and their secrets that they keep. Very cliquish and hard to get in on a circle. Why is it that when you walk outside or around your neighborhood, you don't ever see the same individuals in those dating apps or on those camera sites or on those camera sites on them dating apps? But you have OnlyFans and you never see the models out in the streets in public. These could be holograms. Beware. Lucifer can transform himself into an angel of light that's like a hologram. Or if you film me on green screen and composited me into a video using mocap, you could make an individual look as real as me. Utilizing scrap real images and compositing a face together. And also a body. News in all forms of the media as well. That your news is not any more realer than your models on your camera apps that you don't see in public or on those dating apps either. Within a general specified area, that if you were to go outside, think about it, all the people on the planet that McDonald's serve, when you walk around your neighborhood or your parts of town, you don't see too many individuals you're attracted to. Not meaning that these individuals aren't attractive. I'm an okay looking individual, but I can't say that I'm an attractive one. Not one that I would immediately strike a conversation with if there was a counterpart, such as a female. I generally look common or average, but on these camera sites or OnlyFans, you see these supermodels that are like average Joes, allegedly just anybody's around your local neighborhood that you never seem to meet. In this part of society, that's a monopoly system, a barter or trade situation. Individuals of certain age ranges and groups you don't see. How is it that you could find locals on your dating apps that you would strike a conversation with and holler at if you've seen them in public? And allegedly there's quite a few of them in your part of town, but you never seen them before with your own eyes, and you could meet this individual. How do you know they didn't come down from spaceships or there's some type of illusion? Generally they want you to join Kik, and Kik's been out of service for quite some time unless you're involved in the secrets. One account controls several profiles that's in the algorithm that targeted ads. You see, you were getting streamed things based on your deep mind and your deep affections, I suppose. But how can you find these individuals on these dating apps within a certain radius in which you will strike up a conversation and date? That when you go outside, you don't see any of the likes of these types of persons that you might talk to, that you see on dating apps in your general area, ever. Considering all the people that McDonald's serve. that when you walk outside, in comparison to the numbers that's held on your dating apps, a lot of these profiles on the dead internet can be recycled. And we are in a purple state, which is a captive state that is delta. People claim that is dead. People walking around and seem to be defiled. Advertisements for better help like it's an emergency broadcast system for individuals that were going to end up isolated or in the compromising positions with their family that they haven't had before, like some type of global reset. And so that individuals don't freak out, they created a chatbot such as AI that acts as these different profiles on these dating apps to give individuals hope during a reset where many individuals were raptured out of the earth and taken to Ella. That's Kylo. A place where you work and your consciousness catches back up to you. While this pyramid shuts down and goes through a reset, how come when you walk outside you don't see a single individual that you would date within a specified age range, so far off from speaking to these individuals in that type of way, in this type of world, with this many individuals? The fact that we have dating apps at all, like people are hard to find in America especially. Advertisements for better help. We in a delta state. Marijuana's been legalized. Many of these individuals are in underground bunkers. Donald Trump could be composited. We don't even know if that's the real one or just a light image. How many individuals been to his rallies? Many faces are composited, the light portions of their face. If you look at the round edges of the silhouette of the shape of them, or the silhouette of the light, the brightest portions of the light on the faces, sometimes you can see a line around this part, what seems like they took a different face and put it on a different body, the same as them campsites online, to make it seem that there's many things and this world is still carrying on like normal when the world has passed away and we're going through a reset. Considering how many individuals McDonald's served, isn't it strange that we have dating apps? Are we afraid to speak to one another like we're in the 8th grade? And we got dating apps like people are hard to find. When you walk outside, how many individuals are you attracted to? And have you been following a lie, looking at campsites, seeing these depictions of images that captivate your interest, but yet they hold no weight because there's no life inside. It's just an image of an individual going through different things. A computer, an artificial intelligence acting as if it's alive, drawing your interest in your credit cards. Isn't it interesting the amount of people that McDonald's serve, that we have dating apps, that when you go outside, it's like it's hard to find people that you would date despite the numbers of individuals in your city? Is something to think about. And have you been chasing a lie, chasing an image that look good to eat but does not exist? This lie that exists on camera. It makes me think of that movie with Joaquin Phoenix called Her. I'm out. Peace.
I know the mother that can talk about
Yo, what up, YouTube? What up, what up, what up? Alright. The name of this section I'm gonna call here is Enjoy the Magic of the Movies. Enjoy the magic of the news. What is compositing, ladies and gentlemen? Alright. That's what I'm gonna be talking about today. Now, when you go to the movie theaters, usually like AMC, when they tear your ticket stub, it was required for them to say when you went into the movies, enjoy the magic of the movies. And we have a lot of visual effects, compositing, rotoscoping. If you're not aware of these effects, I went to school for motion graphic design. You could look up the technique online. It's the technique oftentimes used when filming production houses use green screen, okay? And they composite somebody into a different background, a background that they typically wouldn't be in. So they utilize this and they do the environments and the special effects in post-production. But they film the actor or the stunt double by themselves, okay? And, I have a background image here of Vegeta, and he's under mind control. And I have Other here. If you ever seen the film called Others, it was about ghosts. And so Mother, when you know about this in like Eastern mysticism, Mother is known as the deity that eats her own children. All right. In other words, it's an ascribing to a bipolarity, or the individual having a dual spirit. And this would be like man who has the spirit of God, but also has the spirit of his own flesh, of his own personal will. So his self-will. All right. There's your self-will and thy will. Now, Christ told us what made him different was he said that he was going to do thy will, meaning the will of the Father, no matter what that was, right? And we are to follow Christ. But if we don't, we fall into a B state, and this in your own will, according to your appetites, desires, and sensations, and your impulses, without having self-control and what have you, you basically, power without control is chaos. Okay? So I have Other. The film Others was about ghosts. As you know, Christ gave us the Holy Ghost. But as you come into this world in America, you are under some type of legal construct or situation where they consider you to be dead or legally dead. Okay? So this is like a ghost world to a degree, or an upside down kingdom, or a kingdom that never was. All right. And this entire kingdom would be considered the beast, because it's the kingdom that correlates with the deep state or the mind of an individual. In other words, it's the dream that you have existed in. This matrix is a dream. This is what, when you get the film like Inception, or the Travis Scott ritual that was Christ in Limbo, you have this scenario, and you could come across a point where you have a Stasi effect, where the news has the magic of the movies. What do I mean by that? By your news anchors are filming, and they're saying that they're filming live, but they're in places in studios that have a green screen. The same with NASA, so on and so forth. A lot of these entertainers, or these light images that you see, okay, pertaining to the media, because it is written, beware, for Satan is transformed into an angel of light. So as you see here, Leonardo DiCaprio, and he has this halo around his body, is as an aura or a halo. In other words, this picture of Leonardo DiCaprio is composited into this background. You see what I'm saying? You can tell that he naturally doesn't belong there. So this is a hologram or a digital representation of Leonardo DiCaprio, his image and his likeness being used, okay, for this film. And this aura around him is as a halo, as if he were a saint or a ghost. All right. So it says, beware therefore, so Satan transformed himself to an angel of light. So many of your movie idols that you see, while they may be stars, the images and the roles that they depict according to the egos they represent when they play these individuals, or your favorite rapper, or so on and so forth, these are just fabrications, personas, or egos. These are not actually how that individual really lives. They are an entertainer. They do that for a business. They do that for a job. And because they're an entertainer, then their personal privacy has been removed from them for the benefit of the public. You see what I'm saying? Just like, take for instance right here. Hold on. Hang on. See, moving that messed up my whole situation, because I gotta find where I was at. All right. Well, this image, you could tell Leonardo DiCaprio is compositing here. He doesn't have the drop light around him, right? And just as the same as here, when you look at Ellen Page, she's composited into this scene, and this man with this light around him is composited into this movie. So you have these actors that have larger than life, these images of great men that do great things, you know, that are larger than life, that are godlike, that are death defying. You know, this portrayal of this superhero, of this Superman that one has never met, that gives individuals hope that there is an individual such as this that exists, or to garner their beliefs or develop through conditioning of seeing these films, psychic driving, to create strong individuals or characters like this. But the fact of the matter is, in order for this individual's image to exist on screen like this, larger than life, then oftentimes they have to go into the secrets. In other words, they are oftentimes killed, okay, and even tormented for reactions and what have you. And their body is studied either through nanites or mocap. And then they take these images of these individuals and they can utilize even their emotions, Leonardo DiCaprio's emotions, on a different actor if they want to, because they have all of his movements captured, okay, and memorized, all right? These would be prior states of consciousness. If this image was ever to re-emerge, that this image would generally remain in that same general area of consciousness without any expansion or growth, because these would be pertaining to an individual's memories. And if an individual memory ceases, hence the movie has stopped being made in production, then therefore this individual's learning has stopped as well. So the independent core being of the individual is lacking, even though you have the representations and the likeness of that individual. This would be as a light body or a angel. All right. For Satan himself transformed himself into an angel of light. These are these great men, these actors, and these images and these icons that you see in films that are doing godly things, but are not living necessarily in a godly way. All right. This is about giving the ego or the self or the person, okay, the glory of God rather than God, his glory, more so. And it's connotative and it's subtle and it's insinuated. All right. But it's not directly said. It's implied with these films. So I wanted to show you this about how they can composite, things into a screen. And I'm going to get into this in a second. This is what we're going to do first. First, I want you to look at this right here. And it says, since its inception. This is a screenshot that I randomly took of a PBS Frontline piece that was recently released about Zhang, China, and Kim Jong Un. But if you look at these individuals in this picture, okay, they look like they're computer graphically transplanted into the image or placed into the image, but they're not actually those, real people that are there. They're just a light image, no different than a movie, of actors being green screen or composited into something. So these individual faces and things like that, I believe, are AI. Okay, let me expand on this a bit. Because when you zoom into the photograph here, okay, and you look at these faces, okay, you can say either the camera's bad or whatever, but the truth of the matter is, like, this is the picture at 100%. Okay, and I'll show you at 200% and 300%. But when you see things like this, these are not actual people. This is rotoscope or composited into the screen. Okay, all of these people. All right, so this is a Frontline PBS screenshot, which Frontline is known to be legit news. And I happened to capture it when it said since its inception, so I paid attention to that. And Inception, the slogan for it is "The Dream is Real," and it's starring Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's about being in limbo. And we had the Travis Scott situation where people got trampled, and it was called Christ in Limbo. Okay. So when we get into Inception about the kick, you know what I'm saying, and things of this nature, okay, then you have a situation where people are living in some type of collective dream, in some type of holographic matrix, it would seem, okay, and it's a dream world, just as in Inception. And this reminds me of Blue World. Let me shrink this back down. And Blue World is a Mac Miller song. As you know, Mac Miller overdosed. Okay, and there used to be this ecstasy called Blue Dolphins. All right. So it can be connotative of that ecstasy pill, or it could be due to Adderall, which is a blue pill, and it can have equalizing effects for certain individual pertaining to psychology. So it's either the Blue Dolphin pill that is ecstasy, or something correlating with Adderall. But Blue World is a song by Mac Miller, who allegedly passed of a drug overdose before releasing a record called Self-Care. Okay, right here I have Blue World. This is a screenshot of the music video Blue World, where there are several Mac Millers composited in a row. Now, if you look at this, right, and you look at this, okay, it's generally the same. So when you see presidents like President Trump and all that, are you watching the magic of the movies? Are you seeing real people? Or are these AI artificially generated images? Like when I say, when you look at the edges, or you look at the shape of the face. Whoops. Hold on. The shape of the face, you see how the head is large and it comes in. It's almost like a great alien head or alien. This is almost like a dragon. You know what I'm saying? So these are light images or light bodies that cover. Look at this, American Gothic horror, that are as in the representation. Does somebody's face really look like this? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not making fun, but it looks like a face that was maybe created out of Play-Doh. This one here, because the detail is going to be less. As you zoom in, look at this man's head, for instance. All right. So you have other species here that wear a cloak or a light body. That's what it was seeing. Other spirits. But to me, this reminds me of Mac Miller's Blue World, as if he was leaving something behind, trying to tell us something. You know, maybe. You know, that you have all these Mac Millers in a row. So again, when you watch Trump at the rally, and you ain't never been to his rally physically, or like I said, you on these dating apps, you never see these people around your town, this, that, and the other. These profiles can be generated, and there could be one account that is associated with 50 sock puppet bogus accounts of fake profiles of different individuals, okay, pertaining to these dating apps as well. So you got to be careful with how you deal with things online, but enjoy the magic of the movies when you watch these rallies and things of this nature, that many individuals can be under mind control, okay, by mother that is facing believing a lie or a false representation or a image or hero figure instead of depending on God. All right. So the people appear CGI or rotoscope together in the background, and it reminds me of the Mac Miller music video Blue World, which has many Mac Millers rotoscoped in the frame as the composition that I just showed you. All right. Let me do this, because I guess I wasn't quite finished with this. Right here. All right. Now, when you look at this image, I guess I closed it. When you look at this image, does this image not remind you of Squid Game? When you see the players in Squid Game and things of this nature. And when I talk about laundry, so you got individuals that you just can't keep up with or anything like that. And pertaining to how you see individuals in your life environments around you, is really everyone around you that much smarter than you? Or do you have something else going on? Do you have false spirits facilitating a lie, and you are chasing a lie or after a image based upon your personal knowledge or perception, believing it to be something to be true that isn't? In other words, false evidence appearing real. So if you have a bunch of these model-like looking bodies that are online, and you're chasing after that girl that looks like that girl online, or as in that Joaquin Phoenix film, Her, you see what I'm saying? And then you go outside and you see real people that eat real food and things of this nature, then you know what I'm saying? Then you know what I'm saying? The fruit, the organic fruit, might not look like the GMO fruit, because the GMO fruit is a lie. It's not really real. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what the devil does. You know, he gets one to go after a thing that you may fall chasing over a thing that you may get, versus enjoying the things that you have. All right. Because those things aren't real. They're just images, a lot of times, to generate or facilitate marketing. But this looks like the Squid Game, doesn't it? And they're talking about Ray, the entity or the tentacle, which everybody has a so-called tentacle. This kind of Eastern mysticism, I don't really get involved with it, but it's the host that dwells inside of your body, okay? And you know, the setup here, this is at a rally that is for Kim Jong-un, and all these people have gathered to listen to him speak. But when you look at their faces, it doesn't add up that they're real people, does it? All right. So that's why I'm saying, like, When you watch these TV shows and you think these actors are real, they go on interview that they're real or that it's filmed before a live audience, why would you have to tell me that it's filmed before a live audience? That could still be pre-recorded. There's many ways that you could take something. All right. You also find this on many adult camera sites that are merely screensaver girls that back in the day in the 90s, late 90s, or what should I say? No. After post 2005, you will find these pop-up advertisement for screensaver girls that would come onto your computer, and they would be AI girls that would do a little something that was rotoscoped into an environment or a bedroom. All right. Many of which are pre-recorded and automated by AI. You see what I'm saying? And these, automated beings or light beings, okay, these angels, these light beings are composited into environments to represent ideals and personalities and characters, which are arcanized from a crowdsource of events. So when you watch the news, if you're not watching the news based upon a consciousness of understanding archetypes, you could get lost in the meaning of the news and gaslit into believing fake news, because fake news is going to have a side of the equation as well as a summary of what's going on around the world brought to your local television in your part of town. Okay? So in order to convey these big ideas and concepts, they present the news pertaining to a summary oftentimes. All right. These individuals can be rotoscoped, your news person, any political speech, the crowds at certain places and what have you. When people have online fans and so many fans and things like that, they pay for their subscribers, which is computer camps and PC bit camps, and they pay for subscribers in order to get their media out there. Because me posting from a general localized area, not only are my neighbors aren't going to find my personal page, and it's a mystery that anybody can find my page, because where would it be advertised in the saturated dead internet other than it being recently posted? You see what I'm saying? So when you have those screensaver girls, these camera girls, are you enjoying the magic of the movies, chasing after a lie? Just are you chasing after a politician? Are you following after an actor or some type of famous performer that presents an ego that is captivating, but really doesn't have any base values in pertaining to godliness or leaning to godliness or denying the spirit of God? The difference between a living soul and a non-living soul is only one thing: whether they have the spirit of God. So whether someone is a light being or a regular human being, any individual that denies the spirit of God, you see what I'm saying? This individual will be concluded as lacking life. In other words, devoid of consciousness, an actual living spirit that weighs and has emotions and feels between categorical boxes of a perfectly organized mind, but not really having any type of anomalous, organic, living nuances would separate the way an individual links from a typical database or an AI chat chip. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at these models online and they're doing things or whatever, they're composited into a room for your cryptocurrency, and it's not even a real person. So a lot of times people on OnlyFans or these camera sites, they're giving their money away to something that is artificially generated, such as this crowd here at a Kim Jong-un speech. You see what I'm saying? So it's fake, and it's hard out here for individuals to earn a living or get a job. So individuals individuals are oftentimes left to sign a contract or going through masonry in order to provide for their family, becoming a sacrifice and living on as an image representation, but a machine, if you will. Not exactly a machine, but a lot of them choose the android body type, and they have to develop their consciousness from a base host state back up to where the consciousness was of man when God created man, thus making themselves gods, lower G gods. Okay. While their spirit is taken off to Ella, this camp in which you work, they keep your body or your vessel running on earth to work and make whatever money that they gave you that was yours already. Okay. To make that money back for them, and they will work you and they have your image forever. You see? So that is where knowledge comes into play. The individuals end up knowing things, but they know things based upon falling back to some base state. You know, I looked online again. The Stasi effect that I think is DeepFake, when you have something called, and there goes an AMC ad right there, Kingdom of the Kims, Rise to Power. I mean, that's a hilarious title. You know what I'm saying? For Kim Jong-un, for something that is of National Geographic with 1.7 million views, Kingdom of the Kims. Now, in what reality would you see this? And when you look at Kim Jong-un, when you look at the edges of him, he's so crisply put into this background that he's in. You see what I'm saying? It's like he was cut out and he was like just stuck like a sticker right on top of this background here. His face looks very young. It looks computer generated. It looks like they use a skin smoothing app to smooth his face out. And this part of his face right here looks like a separate face altogether that they put on somebody else's face. You see what I'm saying? So that when Kim Jong-un is walking around in society, you wouldn't know who he is, because his face is composited on top. And this would be as a covering. You see? This would be as a covering. So when we talk about mother as this modern sign here as mind control, okay, I'm saying MK, mind control, M plus other is mother. And I'm asking, are we dead yet? Is this the underground? Because everybody's repping the color purple and it's very different down here. Mother is known as someone who, and Saturn is known as someone who eats her own children. Meaning, in order to have that knowledge in masonry, the mother has to strip that individual down back to a base organism in which they rudimentarily work their way back up and to having a base natural functionality as a human being. They would have to learn how to be a beast first. If you were just a tentacle host inside of the eye, if you were broken down into, let's say hypothetically, a worm, and you had to evolve again, for some who are going through works, their works are going to pertain to evolution. This is not something that's going to connotate with man. So when you're dealing with individuals out there that are going through the works or whatever, you just know that you're dealing with an individual that has to a degree retrograded in such mind that they are working their way up from becoming a base organism into a beast, going through the different psychologies in a rudimentary step-by-step way, that way that they know themselves and have the knowledge. They go that way. Me, I just chose to follow the Most High. All right. These would be those who have the form of God but deny the power of God, would be the image. And Satan can transform himself into an image or an idol of light. Who are your favorite icons on TV, music, and film? are these true representations of godliness. You know, when you watch a movie and you see a dude, you know what I'm saying, physically beat the brakes off of like 15, 16 dudes, you know what I'm saying? Is that something that God really wants you to do? Is this something really pertaining to godliness? Is this something, is this pertaining to narcissism and ego? Or is this really pertaining to godliness? Is this how God or Christ has asked you to conduct yourself in places? And it's very captivating and it's very alluring. But we don't really zoom in on what type of problems can manifest, okay, by living in a man's body and going about your way as a beast, meaning by any means necessary, kill or be killed. When you think of organizing corporations and wars and things of this nature into a single character being personified as a protagonist, you have to ask yourself, in what ways or representations is this single individual broken down into many different people to accomplish a goal, okay? Elsewise, in order to do this would be a carnal way of thinking, a carnal way of understanding, someone who has missed the message or the understanding not only of the film, but the meaning of Christ, for this would be a lost one. And so you could be chasing after those things. So when you look at certain things of your favorite icons and idols and things of this nature, not understanding in what way that you view them and how you view the situation, while we may get into the thrill of the movie to have understanding what the reality of the situation is and how God wants us to conduct ourselves, then we have to ask ourselves, are we chasing a lie? Are we chasing the dream? And in such a manner, we have stopped recognizing individuals around us engaging in conversations, and our minds have been aloft by technology. This false light that invades our bedrooms with this eerie glowing light like it's Halloween. And we've become obsessed with it and wear it like leashes, and as dogs we respond to it. Anytime it has notifications, we're more attentive to our cell phone than a baby. A baby gets weaned and a cell phone does not. Or the user of a cell phone does not from his cell phone. You see? These icons only live on screen, on ChatGPT, as ghosts, holograms, unless you have access to the ghost world. And the only way to have access is a secret to those who go in the way of life. That one must die in order to be made into a star or a court or cultural icon. So those who go into work are usually broken down into military or sex grade, sex slaves that are used as human resources to work the streets and control disease, and also to create kills for society along with government experiments, so on and so forth. And these would be the natural consequence of a man's actions pertaining to two choices coming together, creating a spiritual resolve, whether that be grace and mercy or there be some form of punishment that is given to the individual that is engaging in these endeavors. But these mermaids, these light beings that you see on ChatGPT or OnlyFans are as sirens, because when you see them, they look like demigods. Their skin is perfect and everything because they're digitized only. They've been comprised together by the computer. These dating apps, these profiles, these pictures, and so on. And you have to think back and look back. How long have I been getting deceived by the news, been getting fed fake news, been getting fed fake and false images, or has it just been my understanding has been amiss? You see what I'm saying? So one has to be spiritually rooted in God, and it is good for a woman that you could go in the direction of resources that's generally going to lead you into some type of slavery or into masonry that's going to break you down to a base organism in which you'll be used as a sex slave probably while your spirit is deported to Illa, while you work up there for your soul to connect with you. And sometimes it takes quite some time. You have to work a while. You're just working on autopilot. And your body's down here on autopilot. That way you don't care what you do, where your soul is in translation. And they gather up this knowledge and they feed it back into you in icons and images in which individuals have lost themselves for a piece of bread. These Masons that work against, that doesn't have natural affections or desires for women. It's not, I can't say that it's all of them. But generally, it's a different spirit that comes inside of them that has enmity with man because of the life that man has in him. So their vengeance is to kill, though we know it is the Lord's. So it's a battle of wills and temptations. These are real things. How well does a man know himself? And how can a beast know himself outside of God? How good is his knowledge in comparison to wisdom? If an individual doesn't have an organic spirit, then he has to operate off of base stereotypes and programs in which we tick boxes and categories that we must fit inside, and people vote in the deep state. And this vote, the word government, means mind control. And these laws and these rules and regulations act as a base plate in which, for those who don't believe, have a base operation in which their mind can operate within a legal means in which they can appear sane and hold down a job and do things on the side, and can be controlled by handlers or other spirits that roam the earth as ghosts. These memories of former men that come together as ideas and epiphanies inside one's mind. These spirits, these thoughts that you have. To know the difference and from whence it came is an individual who understands themselves. And I'm going to show you a little bit of something here. Right here. Hang on. This. Let me see where the sound is at. This turned all the way up like this. This is China, the U.S., and the rise of Xi Jinping. When you look at the edges of these things, look at the shoes. Do you think these men is really standing in this environment, that this is really going down or happening? Look at the people in the background. Look at this. Do you think that's really happening? When you look at him and you look at the edges of him, right? Do you think this individual is really there? When you look at his face right here, does it not look like the face is CGI or 3D and that it has been stuck on top of here? Do you think this is real? When you look at the crowd's heads here, does that look real to you? You see, I'm sorry I got messed up there, but they're already showing you that there's AI, artificial robots, and how they can catch the motions, and then they can put anybody's face or anything like that on top of that. Okay? And when you think of that movie called Ex Machina, you know, with special effects and graphic design, they could make anything look like anything, right? So I want to show you that in contrast with Blue World by Mac Miller I'm going to cut this down. But you see how this is? Look at this. All rotoscoped in if you look at the edges. All rotoscoped in. This is a dead planet. This is a prison planet. You know? You have to find a way to escape, I suppose. But it's like this, man. Your presidents, your idols and things you've seen, you know? When you look at compositing, you know, it's like this. You know, this is what you're looking at.
Actors in slow motion.
You see? Was that really filmed? Did it really require stuntmen, or are these CGI people? Okay. There's no way to really know. Look, green screen. And then look, you do all this. You can add these backgrounds, you can add environments, and you could do this with the news, and you could do this with film. Enjoy the magic of the movies. Okay? And this last clip I want to show you here is Mr. Beast and Logan Paul. This is like green screen. Hold on. They filmed this when we first got in during Deep State. The Archons, they filmed this running down the block. I remember them doing this. You see, this is green screen. This is rotoscoped in. This is Deep State. And when we first came in here, it was nothing going on. You see, this says it's got sound on. There was nothing going on in this pyramid. And we had to wait 2 to 3 months before we came in because the Archons had to set it up. That was one of the things from Life Cycle 1 that they first filmed to show you how this was put together. And so when they say enjoy the magic of the movies and you get acclimated to seeing these special effects in these different places, then it kind of whets your appetite and creates this distortion or this blurred perception, okay, between what can actually happen, what is real, and what is actually happening, which leads people to walk in this disassociation, and one could be led astray. You know, considering 50 Shades of Grey, this thing could be very subtle and can happen in steps. But I wanted to share these things with you. I say peace and blessings be with you all. I'm out.